Hello everyone, my name is Jenny Redacted, and I'm going to show you how to make your first Codex map in less than 10 minutes. First thing, we're going to go over to the director side, hit plus, and create a new campaign. We'll do custom campaign. You can go ahead and name it whatever you'd like, choose a different piece of color art, then hit deploy online. That'll give you a code you can send to your players to allow them to join your campaign. Once it's generated that, you can go ahead and hit confirm and hop into your campaign. Once we're inside, we'll see the default tavern map here, but we're going to go ahead and make our own. Hopping over to the game tab in the top left, we can go under maps, hit the plus button in the bottom, go ahead and hit import an image. We can give our map a name. This one's going to be a cave, so I'll call it cave. Hit create map. Then we can go grab the file we want to upload, clicking on it and hitting upload. Now, the Codex is pretty good at detecting certain resolution of maps and be able to automatically put a grid on, but if you have to do it manually, here's how you do it. You gotta click on one cross on the grid for your map, hit continue, then click on the opposite side for that square. Then you'll see it's already kind of got the pixels going. And just to confirm, you can go ahead and click on another square on the other side of the map, and it's all done. See, there's a little discrepancy here just because I wasn't exactly accurate. I'll fix that. And we can continue. Once we're in, we'll see our map, and it's pretty much ready to go if you were doing a normal VTT, but this is not a normal VTT. This is the Codex, and we're going to use the best of our tools. Let's adjust this little border here to make sure it's actually on our map, and we're going to get started in messing with the elevation. So you can see there's quite a lot of little parts here that are going to be up and down. There's this big pit in the middle that we want to do. So let's go over to elevation editor. You'll see you can adjust the overlay to tell you the height map however you'd like. I personally prefer the labeled overlay because the numbers really help me figure out which height it's at. We're going to use the shape tool to draw our own shape, and we're going to set the height to -5. This will be 5 squares down. Then using left control and left click, we're going to be able to paint a map not tied to the grid, so we can paint out exactly what we want. We can use the middle mouse button, clicking down on it to pan around to make sure we've got everything we want painted, and can do it all in one big stroke here. There's this little tiny ledge that's a little lower than the rest. I'm going to leave that there so I can do it myself. We can go past the border's edges here, that's fine, and then let's loop back around and close the circuit. Boom, now we've got a -5 big old pit here, and we can adjust the height to -3 for this tiny, smaller ledge. Okay, we can hop back over to another one of the tabs to get the height away and kind of look. Now Codex is already doing its magic, and we have this really nice parallax on this big pit in the middle of our map here. There are some other edges here that can be a little bit higher as well. We're going to treat the lower path of height 0 as our ground floor, and we're going to raise everything else up. So these big old rock formations here are going to be too high. That's usually a pretty good height, and draw steel to make something inaccessible to people who can't climb, or at least make it a little harder to get up there, but still provide high ground. Now here we've got a little bit of like a rock kind of on its side, acting as sort of like a ramp. So we're going to mess with the blend distance and the gradient slope options to kind of create a gradient of height that acts as a natural ramp. And if we do this right, our characters will be able to walk up this ramp without having the Codex tell you that you need to be able to climb, and just walk up it like it's stairs. That's pretty good. Now let's go ahead and get the height of our outer walls. So these walls are pretty high. They're going to be like basically the boundary. So we're going to set it at a height of 5, and we're going to paint around the edges here just like we did before. Alright, now that's all said and done, this is our final parallax of our battle map. Much cleaner and much more looking like a Codex map than before. Let's go ahead and just drop some of these Delian Tomb pre-gens that come with every campaign to kind of test out what we've been putting here. Let's go ahead and test out the nature of that giant pit. Let me grab a goblin, and show you a little bit of a knockback maneuver and the automatic fall damage and height of the Codex. Clicking on maneuver, click on knockback, targeting the goblin, making our roll. A push 3 will drop them dead in the center, and down they go. Auto-calculating the fall damage and setting prone. Pretty good. Now we can see here that this height rock tells us we need to get climbing on top of it. Putting our tactician on top, it gives us a height of 2, and that will that high ground will automatically be calculated by the Codex and grant us our edge on our ranged strikes here. And over on our Fury side, we'll see that that ramp does in fact work perfectly. We can walk right up it, and there's no red text telling us we need to climb. As per se, if we were on the lower path here and tried to go up, it'll tell us we need climbing. So the nice ramp there worked like we wanted to. And these height 2 rocks that we're on are also the perfect height. They will stop forced movement if they're at least height 2. So we'll push our goblin in here right into the wall, and they will take some damage. Boom. Now, this is a pretty serviceable and pretty awesome map, but we are indoors and it is very dark. If we right-click our tokens and go down to Show Token Vision, we can see what our players see. You'll see they only see the boundaries of the map that we have selected, and everything looks pretty nice. But we can turn down the lighting up here to actually make it a way more dark, as a cave should be. But we don't want it to be our players to be fighting in the pitch black darkness, but there's these glowing mushrooms all around the map. We're going to go ahead and actually add a lighting to the map to make those mushrooms glow. So we're going to go to the Objects tab, go down to Invisible Objects, and select the Light option. Then go ahead and just click down where you would want them, just kind of bundled in the middle of where these things should be, and we can see that it's already giving off light. If we go and look at our token again, we can see that it's glowing, but it's got this kind of torch color. We don't want that. We want it to be the kind of blue, sea green kind of color that the mushroom is. So we're going to click on it, go to the light property of its properties here, and here we have a bunch of options to say what we want the light to be. First thing is the color. We have this big hue slider. We're going to go ahead and mess around with it and get the color that we want. Kind of going for like a bluish green here. Sounds about right. We can also select different lighting patterns. There's a bunch preloaded. You can also upload your own. Looking at these other ones, they seem serviceable, but I'm probably going to end up going with the original. That one's kind of nice, but I like this kind of like rustic little look there. So we're going to go with that. We can adjust the intensity of the light, making it brighter or dimmer. For this, we're going to go for a little bit of a decent but low intensity, but just up the radius and make that way bigger. We can also see there's like a flicker option. The light will kind of like get a little brighter and darker as it goes. It really adds to like the realism of just how pretty the map looks. So with that, we can go ahead and exit out of that. Clicking on the item, we can hit Control-C and Control-V to copy and paste, and just put the light all around the map where we want them. Same thing, kind of just going for like center of mass on the mushrooms. Doesn't need to be on each individual one. That will usually get the point across and make the lighting look really nice. Dropping that over there. And there we go. Now we zoom out in here and go ahead and hit on character. We can right click one of our tokens to see their token vision and see the lighting. Very immersive, very like things. We can also hit L on our characters to pull out their own light sources and torches in case our characters end up in a position where they can't quite see because there's no mushrooms on that side. But okay, now you'll notice that we can kind of still see the invisible light options. Our players won't, but I also don't like staring at them. If we hit the lock icon up here on items, they will disappear and you won't be able to select them unless you go to the Objects tab. So I like doing that because I don't like just seeing the litters of my work across my battlefield, so it makes it much nice and cleaner, and I can focus on the fight going on in front of me. So lock everything up, and everything is now in place. And you have just made your first Codex map with parallax and lighting in less than 10 minutes. I've been Jenny Redacted. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.